There are a few simple pleasures in life I look forward to. Hot coffee, a half-decent sandwich, and a quiet Saturday morning by the river where I can fish in peace, away from other humans. Unfortunately, peace is impossible when Karen arrives. It all started around 6 a.m. on a quiet bend in the river. The kind of morning that feels like a secret, mist still curling over the water, birds chirping like a soundtrack, and not a single soul in sight. I parked, walked down to the rocks, and found the perfect shady spot. I set up my chair. Just me, my rod, a thermos of questionable gas station coffee, and a cooler with a sandwich that would probably give me heartburn. The fish were biting early, and I'd just cast for the third time when I heard it. Excuse me. Not, excuse me, like someone forgot their manners. No. This was a declaration. A demand. Like I had broken a sacred rule. I turned. There she stood, early 50s, wearing a bright lemon-yellow blouse that probably violated several style codes, a massive pair of sunglasses perched on her head like a tiara, and the tightest frown I've seen outside a DMV. She looked like she was born to file complaints. "You're in my spot." "Didn't see a sign," I said calmly. "That's because I haven't unpacked yet. But I fish here every Saturday, same time. Everyone knows that." I looked around. The river stretched in both directions, wide, empty, untouched. I was the only person here, and somehow I had stumbled into enemy territory. "Well," I said, "I guess I got lucky today." "No," she snapped. "You got in the way." She turned to her vehicle and began unloading with the urgency of someone preparing for a hurricane. I watched in awe as she pulled out a full-blown camping expedition. 3 coolers, 2 folding chairs, an umbrella, a Bluetooth speaker, a tackle table, and what I can only assume was a portable air purifier. She arranged it all like she was hosting a fishing expo for one. Finally, she placed a pink cooler at the front of her setup, as if it marked her territory. On the side, written in big black Sharpie, "Kareing Zone." I chuckled. "Mistake." She whipped her head around. "This is serious." "Oh, I can tell. The fish recognize me. I feed them. I meditate with them. You being here is throwing off the flow." I stared at her. The flow? The natural aquatic current of connection. I nodded slowly, pretending I didn't want to walk into the water and let the current carry me away from this conversation. I cast again. She groaned. "You're scaring them away." "I'm sitting here. Quietly. You're radiating interference." Around 6:45, I caught a catfish. Decent size. Nothing to brag about, but enough to remind me why I was here. I held it up, proud. Karen gasped. "That's Barkley." "The fish?" "Yes. He always greets me first." "You disrupted his routine." "Pretty sure Barkley didn't sign a lease, Karen." She paced along the riverbank, muttering. Then she pulled out a small plastic container of fish food and tossed it into the water right next to my line. It smelled like expired anchovies in low tide. "You're chumming right next to me?" "It's a spiritual offering. It's a biohazard. Unlike your aura." By 7:10, I had moved 10 feet downstream. "You're still in my radius." "Radius?" "The area around me where fish gather." "You're in it." I pointed to the river. "Pretty sure the fish go where the water takes them." "Not my fish. They respect boundaries." At 7:30, she returned from her car with a clipboard and handed me a handwritten river violation notice. "I swear on Barkley," it said. "Offenses. Unauthorized occupation of long-time spot. Energy disruption. Line interference. Fine. $45 or apology." "Karen, you made this yourself. I'm part of the River Respect Collective." "That's not a thing." "Not yet." She walked back to her chair, turned up her Bluetooth speaker, and began playing whale sounds loud enough to echo across the water. Then she sat cross-legged in her fold-out throne and started breathing loudly, eyes closed, palms up like a meditating lifeguard. I reeled in another fish. A little trout. I named him Chad. She opened one eye. "Put him back." "I planned to. I'm not a monster." "Not for your sake. For his." I looked at Chad. He didn't seem to care. I released him into the water. He swam away quickly. Can't blame him. By 8 a.m., the riverbank had drawn a small crowd. A family with 2 kids showed up, tossing rocks and giggling. A couple set up their rods under a tree. An older man with a cooler full of worms nodded politely and settled in upstream. Karen saw every one of them as a personal attack. She stood up from her meditation seat and started pacing her imaginary boundary like a mall security guard. "Just so you know," she called out to everyone, "this whole section is Karen's zone. I'm being generous today, but please respect the fish frequencies. The dad with the kids waved and said, "Okay, thanks," in the tone you give to a grocery store sample lady who won't stop talking. Karen took a seat again and glared at me. "You've created chaos in the water. I'm literally just sitting here." "Exactly. Sitting. With tension." I sipped my coffee. At 8:30, she reached for her prize rod. Pink. Glittery. Rhinestones embedded in the handle. It looked like Barbie built it herself. I could tell from her body language she was preparing a dramatic, glorious cast, one meant to reclaim the river and assert her dominance. She lifted the rod, took 2 wide steps, pulled back, and hooked the line on her own umbrella. The umbrella yanked forward. She panicked and pulled back harder. Snap. The top half of the rod broke off. The umbrella tipped. Her Bluetooth speaker toppled into a pile of bait-soaked paper towels. And Karen just stood there, holding a broken rod, blinking in disbelief like the river had personally betrayed her. The silence was magnificent. A little girl down the shore whispered, "Oh." A guy behind me coughed to hide a laugh. Karen's eye twitched. She slowly turned to me, still holding her broken rod like a snapped wand. "You caused this." "Me? You shifted the atmosphere. You broke the harmony. The fish are retaliating. Or you cast like someone trying to stir soup." She stormed to her SUV and opened the back with enough force to shake the whole vehicle. She pulled out another rod, but it was smaller, unimpressive, plain. You could tell this one didn't bring her joy. "You ruined my best one," she muttered. I caught another fish. Another catfish. Bigger than Barkley. She watched, horrified, as I reeled it in. "Don't name that one." "Why not?" "Because he was meant for me." I held up the fish. "This is Steve. Say hi, Steve. You're insufferable." I let Steve go. He gave a little splash, as if to say thanks, or maybe what the hell was that? At 9 a.m., Karen had had enough. She marched back down the line of people, repeating, "You've all disrupted the current. The fish aren't responding. This is what happens when you let amateurs invade a sacred space." No one looked up. She returned to her throne, crossed her arms, and stared out over the river like a general mourning a lost battle. She packed up 20 minutes later, muttering curses under her breath. Her umbrella was bent, her speaker soggy, and her glitter rod snapped in 2. As she walked past me, she paused. "This isn't over." "I sure hope it is." She left in a huff, her SUV wobbling slightly from the weight of all her chaos. I cast once more. The river returned to silence. And the fish? They came back. Maybe it was the quiet. Maybe it was the lack of sardine oil. Maybe they just liked me better. Whatever it was, I stayed until noon, caught 6 more fish, and ate a sandwich that tasted better than it had any right to. Karen didn't return that day. But every now and then, when the water ripples just right and the ducks scatter dramatically, I can almost hear her voice echo across the current. "You're in my radius." And I smile. Because that river was never hers. But that memory? Oh, that is mine forever.